My name is Mr. Cheetah, and I'm tasked with talking to you about a very special time of the year for Muslims, and it's called Ramadan. Now, Ramadan, a lot of you might know that Ramadan is a month where Muslims fast. They fast. Some of you might know a little further and know that actually, what does fasting mean for Muslims? Well, it means that you don't eat or drink all day, like literally from when the sun comes up till the sun goes down. So it's really interesting that, like, before the sun comes up, early in the morning, it'll be like five something in the morning. We'll all be sitting around, really beautiful. We all sit around, we have breakfast, enjoy together as a family. But then once that sun pops its head out the over the horizon, that's it. That's it. That means from now, no one eats, no one drinks, and that's the way it goes for 30 days. A lot of people think that for 30 days we're not eating and drinking. It's not that. In the morning we stop. In the evening we're good to go. In the next day in the morning we start. In the evening we're good to go. We can go back to our food and whatever we need. So this is up to where most people will know about what Ramadan is, but it's actually even more than that. You see, during the day, we're not eating, we're not drinking, we're not having relations. Um, but generally speaking, it's so much more than that. You see, it's a pretty destitute Muslim that the only thing that changes in his Ramadan is that he or she stops eating and drinking. They're hungry or thirsty. That's not what it's about. It's about so much more than that. You'll find Muslims, for one, they pray a lot in Ramadan. You'll see Muslims like we pray 5 times a day anyway. In Ramadan, people are like at the mosque all the time, like all night. Sometimes you can go 3 in the morning, you'll find someone there praying. Like, we pray a lot. In Ramadan, we speak less. You'll see Muslims speaking less. If they're serious about Ramadan, we have to be really careful. You start realizing that the rest of the year I'm doing all these wrong things. I'm lying, gossiping, talking ill about my friend. These things are wrong. And in Ramadan, it's a chance for a Muslim to stop doing those things, to start, stopping all those things which are pretty negative. It's also a time when Muslims start to show a lot more care. You'll see Muslims open their hand more, like they'll give a lot more charity. They'll be more eager to help those around the world and at home that are poor and destitute and need help. Also, maybe go to their neighbor. It's very common in Ramadan we take some food over to the neighbor. Ramadan just started. Invite them over to the mosque. We feed everyone. In the evening when we break our fast and everyone's eating. Everyone's invited. Anyone who wants can come, and we just all eat together. So you'll find that that's also a time of the year where Muslims show a lot more care. In fact, I was a statistician, and actually the amount of money that is spent on charity in Ramadan by Muslims is amazing. It's an amazing thing how much they open their hands in Ramadan, and all these things. All these things change for that one month, and so then it begs the question: well, what's the point? Why are you changing all these things from that one? And the answer is that it's kind of a training ground. Ramadan is kind of like a training ground, and what it means is that by training this one month, we should be better human beings the other months. And that can be really confusing. It's like, okay, so you're not eating and drinking, and that will help you to be a better human being for the rest of the year when you can eat or drink. And at first, that might not make sense. So let me bring it to you by analogy. Um, let's say, you guys go to school. You guys are in high school, and students always come to me. I'm a maths teacher, and we'll be like doing expanding brackets. In algebra, expand the brackets. We'll be doing expanding brackets, and come to me and they'll ask the classic question, "Sir, when am I going to use this in real life?" And the answer, honestly, for many, maybe most of you, is probably never. But that's not the point. That's not the point. My mathematics classroom is a training ground. And to put a further analogy, I want you to think of a soccer player. I want you to think about a soccer player. When they're training, they'll do this in between the cones, right? When is the last time you saw a soccer player do that in a real game of soccer? Cristiano Ronaldo, maybe. But what about most soccer players? No one does that in the middle of a game. You'll see soccer players doing high knees. Right, knees right up to nearly hitting the chest. You ever seen them do that on the field? Open goal. Right? The goal's open. They should go right back to their training. You ever see them doing the high knees? No. No one does that in a game. They juggle. You go look at their training, they're juggling the ball. You ever seen that in a game? Hardly. But what does it do? It makes the players, even though it's so different to what's in the game, what does it do? It makes the players better. Better at soccer. Better on game day. And my math classroom is very much like that. It's a training ground for logic. It's training you in the faculty of logic. Logic is needed in every possible job you can think of. For example, even something like a principal or deputy principal of our school, they need logic. There are systems in every job. There are systems, and you have to be able to follow those systems, but not only follow them as in step 1, step 2, step 3. You have to be able to use the logic. You have to be amiable so that you bend it to your will, so that you're efficient, so that you meet objectives, but still stay within that system. Every job needs a test. I've been everything. I've been a pizza guy. I've been a property manager. I've been a lot of things. And let me tell you, every job needs systems. I remember, man, my first job, I was a pizza guy. Man, me and the boss be running around making pizzas. This one guy, he comes to us, we say, go get the tomatoes. We'd be busy running around. He'd come back 5 minutes later. I don't remember where they are. So we'll go to the refrigerator. We'll show him where the tomatoes are. 2 or 3 days later, we're running around. Dude, get the tomatoes. He stands there. 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time when you're making pizzas. He stands there for 5 minutes, and he comes up and says, can't remember where they are. This is the dude who never did maths. Let me tell you. Look, the mind is like it's like a muscle. If you don't train it, you lose it. And honestly, the faculty of logic will help you with systems. And systems are in every job. Even something as simple as making pizza has simple systems. Something more advanced, like being a principal of a school, that has very advanced systems that you have to bend to your will so that you are effective, so that you are efficient, and so that you meet objectives. And logic will help you do that. And you need to train yourself in logic. You need to make the muscle strong in logic, right? So that's what we're doing in my math classroom. Even if you never use expanding, you will use the faculty of logic that I am training you in. And it's not just maths. I want you to think about English. You're doing a book report, right? Or you've done a book report. Now tell me, how many of you are going to write reports on books? Not many. But I'll tell you what it will do. It'll make you articulate. What job doesn't need you to be articulate? Let me tell you about the social sciences. Okay? There's a host of things social sciences do, but one thing for sure, it'll help you to think. Think critically. Think about the world and the veil they're putting in front of your eyes and go beyond them. What else will they do? All right. Well, what about art? You know, it teaches you a whole bunch of things, but definitely it'll make you creative. Every job needs a creative person. I don't care whether you're in computers or you're in sports or you're in marketing or you're a CEO. I don't care. You need to be creative nowadays, and arts will give you that. It'll give you creativity, and that's the point. School is like that. It's a training ground. You know, it's not about the specifics you do, but it's training you in all these different facets. I guarantee you, a person who can think logically and express themselves articulately, think about the world, create critically, and express themselves creatively. That's a person. That's a person who can do any job. That's the point. It's not about expanding or factorizing. This place is about giving you the skills, all the skills you need, so that when you're 18, right, you're 18, and that's when you decide what you're going to do with your life. We gave you everything. We gave you all the skills you need to be not just successful at it, but to be excellent at it. So Ramadan is very much like this. There seems to be this disconnect between the training ground and what you're training for, but it makes you better. It makes you better. You know, if you spend a whole month not eating, and now these are the very things that make you a human being, and you're not eating and you're not drinking, you're not having relations all month, then after that, you know, the other things that God tells you to stop, it's easy to stop. All these other things, you know, like not talking bad about your neighbor and helping a poor person is easy, right? All of a sudden, that's so much easier than stopping eating and drinking all day, right? And then the whole month, we've been training ourselves in being a better person, you know, to lie less, to gossip less. You know how hard it is. If for a whole month, try it. For a whole month, you didn't lie, you didn't gossip, you didn't talk bad about anyone. Trust me, after that month is over, the human being doesn't want to go back those ways. And you feel horrible. At the end of that month, when you do any of those things, you feel horrible. The whole month, you show so much care. You've showed care to your neighbor. You've showed care to the homeless guy. When the month is over, it's so hard to go back to the old ways where you didn't love your neighbor, where you didn't help the homeless guy. And this is the point. Ramadan is boot camp time for the Muslims. It's boot camp time. And we're going hard out for a month so that we're better Muslims and better human beings for the other 11 months. And that's Ramadan, man.